Hello guys, this is Rajesh here again. Okay, and in the class 2, okay, so we already had a demo in the past session. Okay, and today we are going to discuss the agenda of the course, and then we'll take it towards the installation mode. Okay, so let's start. Actually, let's walk through the course actually, wherein we will cover Oracle Identity and Access Management 11G R2 patch set 2. We'll also go through some of the milestones in the course. Okay, what we have, at what at particular point of time, what we are going to achieve. Okay, so let's start with the phase 1. So the complete course is divided into different phases. Okay, so there are 4 phases. Phase 1 is installation, then we'll walk and we'll move towards the configuration and integration phase. Then we'll walk through and reach to the phase 3, which is OAM administration, and then we will reach towards the OAM administration, and finally we'll conclude. And meanwhile we'll also observe our milestones. Okay, so let's start here with the installation phase. Okay, so in installation phase, what we are going to cover actually, we will install Oracle database. Okay, the version is 11.201. We'll discuss certification matrix before we even enter into installation mode, right? Oracle provides certification matrix document. Based on the certification matrix document, we need to decide which version we need to pick. Okay, so all the versions which you see for the 10 plus products there, okay, the versions are determined by looking into the certification matrix. And installation phase actually will walk through which version we need to pick up. Okay, when we are installing, let's say when we are building the patch set 1 or patch set 2, or in future patch set 3 or patch set 4. Okay, so very first thing is we are going to install Oracle database. Okay, we'll install Oracle database. We'll create database. Okay, we'll create listener, and we will tune the database, because tuning is mandatory at the database level. Okay, without tuning you cannot move forward. Okay, so once we have our database prepared, okay, then we will run RCU and we'll create component schema in the database. Okay, so we need to create a schema in the database, right, related to OIM, OAM, SOA, OID, OBIEE, all these components. Okay, then step number 3 is we are going to install WebLogic, the WebLogic 10.3.6 using custom 64-bit JDK. The version is update 1.6 update 35. Okay, so point here is why we need to pick up 64-bit JDK. We'll discuss that in greater detail. Okay, then we will install SOA suite. The SOA suite version for the patch set 2 is 11.117. And why SOA actually? The answer is there are 4 plus main features of OIM which are dependent on SOA. Okay, SOA is critical from OIM point of view. Okay, or you can say SOA and OIM are loosely coupled. Okay, then we are going to install IDM suite. IDM suite version is 11.117. IDM suite means wherein we will have OID, OBD binaries. Okay, and there are many more. Actually, we'll discuss the complete Oracle security solutions. What is identity governance suite, what is access management suite, what is directory services suite, right? What all things are there in these components. Okay, then we are going to install IM suite. IM suite we will install OIM and OAM, and there are many more products actually part of the identity governance suite and access management suite. We'll discuss them as well. Okay, then we are going to install OUD. OUD is when Oracle says that it's a future of directory services, then there are a lot of things behind that. Okay, so we'll see actually how OUD combines the capability of OID, ODSE, and OVD. Previously actually Oracle released the OID, ODSE, OVD. Now they have combined the capability of all the 3 directory services into one OUD 11.1.2.2. We are going to observe all these things. Then we need to install the web server, the Oracle HTTP server 11.1.1.7. Okay, web server is required actually so that we prepare the policy enforcement point for the Oracle Access Manager. Okay, so a web server, on top of web server will deploy the WebGate, so we also need to install the WebGate, and we will also go through OBIEE installation. Okay, at the end of the installation phase we will discuss actually if you have to do the high availability setup, what are the implications. Okay, so for high availability setup implication we will discuss in the installation phase. We'll also discuss that in the configuration and integration phase. Okay, so point here is we have discussed here, out of the out of our course agenda, we have talked about installation phase. Installation will last for 2 to 3 days. Okay, so once our installation is done, okay, we'll move into our configuration and integration phase. So configuration and integration phase will again take 2-3 days. Okay, if we take daily half an hour, 1.5 hour and on an average, right? So it will take 2-3 days actually. Okay, so in 2-3 days we will complete the configuration and integration phase. Okay, so in configuration and integration phase, what we are going to cover: how you configure OID, OVD, ODSM. Okay, how you work on ODSM, how you create connections of OID, OVD, right? In OID, OVD, what are the object classes, attributes, matching rules? Okay, we are going to observe all these things. Okay, in ODSM we will work on OVD and will create adapters in OVD. We'll also understand in greater detail actually why OVD is needed. Okay, because we will use OVD to integrate OIM with the OVD. Okay, and to enable the LDAP sync actually. Okay, we'll also use OVD rather than OID or any other directory server. Okay, when we integrate OAM with the directory services. Okay, so in the same way we'll extend the OID. Instead of OID, it could be any directory server which need to be integrated with the OIM and OAM, right? So how you extend that? Because by default there are a lot of object classes, attributes, matching rules, right? They are missing actually on the directory services. So how you extend them so that your directory server become capable of being integrated with the OIM and OAM. Okay, we'll in the same way we'll also create OIM and OAM specific user and group schema in the OID. And as I told you, instead of OID it could be any directory server, and we will discuss that. Have these been instead of OID, is there being AD, what are the implication? If there being OUD, what are the implication? We will observe them, we'll discuss them in greater detail. Okay, so after that actually we'll configure the IAM domain. Okay, we'll wherein we will get admin server, SOA server, OIM server, OAM server. We'll also discuss actually high availability implication at this point of time. Okay, we'll also upgrade the OPSS schema. We'll create database security store. We'll verify whether database security store is correct or not. Okay, and then we will start our servers. Okay, we'll start admin server, OID, OVD. We'll start a SOA server, and finally we will configure OIM. Okay, and we'll enable the LDAP sync. We'll also verify actually in in OIM administration. That topic number 2 is we will verify how LDAP sync works, how you troubleshoot that, how you verify that if tomorrow any of the information changes, right? So how it works, okay, why it works, okay, and what if we have to do any changes. Okay, so we'll discuss in greater detail actually OIM LDAP sync. Okay, and then we'll start all the servers. Okay, and we'll also understand server life cycle. Okay, so how what phases server goes through actually. Okay, so point is we will discuss the configuration and integration phase in greater detail. Configuration and integration phase will give us running OIM server, SOA server, admin server. Okay, we'll access all the consoles in the next step. Okay, so configuration integration phase will keep our servers running. Okay, OID OVD instance will be up, adapter will be there in the OVD, OIM will be integrated with the OVD, and in OVD we'll create the adapters, right? So we'll understand the complete scenario, okay, as we move forward. Okay, so point is in configuration integration phase, I will repeat again, we will get all our components up and running. Okay, so once we are with that point, right, then we'll move into the step number 3. Okay, so then we'll walk into OIM administration. Okay, so in OIM administration I will cover end-to-end OIM administration with a hands-on driven approach. Okay, I will cover the complete course. I will cover picking up the business use cases, and then I will demonstrate practically that how things work in a real enterprise. Okay, I will show you a trusted reconciliation wherein we will fetch 2000 users from our trusted source. We'll bring that into OIM. From OIM these users will replicate into LDAP sync, right? So we'll observe this complete flow. Okay, we'll observe all the 3 kinds of provisioning. Okay, we'll observe what is direct provisioning, auto provisioning, criteria based provisioning, right? Request based provisioning. Okay, how you combine request based provisioning and auto provisioning. Okay, target reconciliation, okay, or account reconciliation, you can also call it by that name, right? How LDAP sync works, bulk load using the CSV file as well as database table, right? how you, these are the crux actually, and there are many more details. You can visit our website and you can download the course contents, okay, and you can observe them, that what is the depth of the contents, okay. In nutshell, I won't leave a single button, single feature unexplained, okay. We'll cover each and every aspect of OIM administration, okay. So point here is, as part of that, entitlement configuration and complete life cycle, how you generate entitlements in OIM, okay. What if entitlements are deleted, edited, okay. So we'll, in greater detail, we'll discuss entitlement configuration and life cycle, okay. After that, we'll discuss disconnected application instances, okay. So these are the crux actually. These are the not the complete course contents, but the highlights, you can say, okay. I will also cover the attestation, the certification, which is a very broad topic, okay. See, when you say patch set 2, OIM 11G R2 patch set 2, and you are not talking about certification, it means you are talking about the 11G R2, because certification is the certification is the major enhancement in the OIM 11G R2 patch set 2, okay. So this certification in greater detail we are going to cover, okay. So how you create certification definition, right? What is risk configuration, offline certification, closed loop remediation, right? And there are a lot of aspects to certification actually. So end to end, I will show you each and every aspect of certification, okay, and the complete life cycle associated with it. Then we'll discuss OIM auditing, and I will show you OIM integration with the BI publisher, so that all the OIM reports we can see, okay, with the data. I will show you the BI publisher, okay, how you do the, and there are a lot of steps behind the scene actually. So I will show you the complete approach, that how we do it. As I mentioned, right, it's a 100% practical course, and all the things, all the contents will be covered in a 100% practical manner, okay. So we will observe all the 8 types of reports with data, okay. So let me let me show you that milestone here, okay, about the BI publisher, okay. So let me open here our browser, okay. So let me log in into BI console, okay. I'll log in initially as WebLogic user and the password, okay. Now click here on catalog, okay. So in the catalog you will find Oracle Identity Manager. So there are 8 types of reports here. This is the custom report actually which I have created, okay. So if you want to see these reports, right, let's say access policy details. So in OIM we have something called access access policy as part of the auto provisioning, okay. So what access policy we have created, right, we can fetch the data and we can see. So I will show you actually all the reports with the data and how you do OIM integration with the BI publisher. So this is one of the milestone actually which I'm talking about, okay. So now, so in this way actually, okay, so as I mentioned, right, I won't leave single button, single feature unexplained, and all the administrative features of the OIM will be covered in the course, okay. So if you want to visit, if you want to, this is the these topics are the crux actually, okay. If you want to access the complete course contents, visit our website and go to, let me show you that actually, okay. So let's go to oraclefusionforall.com, okay. You will find here our courses. Click on our courses. If you scroll down, you will find all the OIM course contents are listed there. Right click, open a new tab, okay. So it will open up the document there, okay. So you will see for us in letter, in spirit, we cover all the, we complete all the course contents, okay. So I have also highlighted here that demo is the only prerequisite, right, which which we have already available publicly, right. So I have gone through the installation phase, right, I have gone through the configuration phase, right, and then we will start with the understanding various consoles of SOA and OIM, because ultimately we need to know the interface, right. The very first thing is we need to know interface, then only we will start working on things, right. So once we get the various consoles in place, we'll understand them, right, in which context we need to access what console, what these consoles will provide us, okay. Then we are going to observe LDAP sync, okay. LDAP sync means all the OIM user will automatically synchronize with the OVD, okay. With the OVD means in OVD will create adapters and it will ultimately reflect in the OID. So I will show you how all the OIM users, role membership, okay, new user registration, role hierarchy, all these things will reflect in the OVD, okay. ultimately the data will be stored in the OID. Okay, OBD is just an interface. Okay, so we'll see that practically. I will show you how it works and why it works. Okay, so we'll understand actually what if some issue is there. Okay, how you will troubleshoot. Okay, so all these things we'll discuss as part of the LDAP sync. We'll also understand actually how you maintain organizations, roles, user, role categories, what all these things are. It's very straightforward actually. Okay, then we will discuss actually and then we'll work on the bulk load utility. So using the bulk load utility, I will show you how you load users, role membership, role hierarchy, account data. You can also take the audit snapshot, right, into OIM from a CSV file or from a database table, and I will cover both. Okay, so in greater detail we'll discuss bulk load utility. Okay, we'll also install and configure two application. One is going to be our trusted application, which will simulate our HRMS application, and another ones will simulate our target application. Okay, then we'll understand the ICF based connector bundle, what all connectors are there. There are 30 plus connectors. We'll understand all of them in greater detail. Okay, and then we will install one of the pre-built connector I'm going to install. I will create ITSOs, sandboxes, application instances using the form designer, how you create object form, lookup configuration. So point is we will do the provisioning configuration. Okay, and then the next topic which we are going to take is trusted reconciliation. Okay, so see, HR people normally perform create, delete, modify operation, right, on the HRMS system. So from HRMS system, okay, if let's say HR people has performed create operation, what will be the impact on OIM, and what will be the impact on the enterprise applications or the users? We'll see that. Okay, what is trust reconciliation events? Okay, we will troubleshoot. We'll also look into the log. Okay, here I will briefly talk about the the logs as well, how you do the matching, okay, mapping, sorry. Okay, all these things we are going to observe in the trusted reconciliation. Okay, so point is these when we do trusted reconciliation, we will fetch 2000 users from our trusted source into OIM, and these 2000 users will automatically get synchronized with the OBD because of the LDAP sync, right? So we'll also observe them. We'll observe reconciliation events, user creation in OIM, how LDAP sync work, and I will also show you actually what could be the possible issues in that and how we troubleshoot that. Okay, so then I will show you direct provisioning. What is the use case for the direct provisioning? I will demonstrate direct provisioning. Okay, then we'll cover auto or criteria based provisioning, wherein we will create membership rule, we'll create access policy, and end to end we are going to observe the auto or criteria based provisioning. Okay, then I will combine then I will here I have given the with the practical use cases. Actually we'll cover the auto or criteria based provisioning. Okay, then for request based provisioning, okay, we need to prepare the SOA. On SOA I will show you two custom composites, which I will show you in the JDeveloper what is the logic there. Okay, and what these custom composite will achieve for us. Okay, so these custom composite we can deploy directly from the JDeveloper, okay, or from the EM console to SOA server, and we will observe them. Then we'll create approval policy. We'll have we'll verify our simple users, right? And then end to end I will show you that how request based provisioning works. Okay, so with the use cases, practical use cases, we'll work with the request profile. So there are few enhancements actually in the catalog, so we'll also observe these few new enhancements as well actually. Okay, what is request profile? Okay, so how exactly the request based provisioning work, what all entities are there, right, from the request engine to approval policies, right, what is the flow in the people, what is the flow in the human tasks, right, how callback happens. So I will give you the end-to-end complete life cycle. I will show you in the request based provisioning. Okay, so here we will work with the request workflow approvals. Okay, how you modify the policies, okay, request templates, managing requests created by users. So point is in greater detail we'll work on the request based provisioning. Okay, and then we will combine request based provisioning and the auto provisioning together. We'll understand the business scenario, business use cases actually where we need to do such kind of things. Okay, so there's everything has a context why we are doing let's say direct provisioning, or why we are doing trusted reconciliation. Trusted reconciliation itself has create, modify, delete. Delete is very powerful job. I will show you that because of the delete reconciliation. Okay, the rogue user concept, the orphan user concept, right, all these things will come into picture. We will discuss them actually in the required context in greater detail. Okay, so point is everything has a context, and so we'll understand these context in greater detail. Okay, so here we discuss that we'll combine request based provisioning with auto provisioning, right? And then we'll work on the account or target reconciliation. Again here your create, delete, modify comes into picture. So keeping all the three operations in mind, I will show you how account reconciliation work for the delete, for the modify, and for the create, right? So how you can do the mapping as well. Okay, so we'll also see reconciliation events, we'll verify everything. Okay, we'll also discuss various troubleshooting, we will also discuss various possible issues there and how we troubleshoot them. Okay, okay, so post that actually we will also create groups on the target application. We'll work on entitlement configuration. Okay, we'll deal with the complete entitlement lifecycle management. Okay, here again you have the create, delete, modify, right? How you work on them, end-to-end complete lifecycle we will observe. Okay, the next topic is organizational security. Okay, so wherein we will discuss in greater detail. We will compare actually normal organization with the top organization, what all things different actually. Okay, in the top organization you will find 6 additional system administrator roles are there. We will discuss them. Okay, we'll also discuss the differences between them. Okay, how OIM now in Passat 2 supports dynamic organization support, right? So we will discuss in greater detail actually organizational security, and it is a very interesting topic. Okay, it also there's a concept called need to know basis. Okay, so organizational security adheres to need to know basis principle. Okay, so in greater detail we'll understand the business use cases. Okay, and accordingly we practically will implement all these things. We'll also work on proxy, what is proxy, password policies, how it is applicable to organizations, email templates, right? How OIM logging works, auditing works, which is very important actually. Okay, how you set the audit level, right? In greater detail we'll discuss audit engine, how auditing, how in OIM audit engine really captures the audit records. Okay, how it works, because it is important from the BI publisher point of view. Okay, we'll also understand various troubleshooting and monitoring monitoring things as well. Okay, we'll discuss actually as we move forward. So as I highlighted, right, we have seen that milestone as well, that at the when this point will come, right, 19th point, at this time I will show you how you integrate OIM with the BI publisher, right? How you take the report templates to the BI publisher, how you populate these reports, and how you create the data sources in the BI publisher, and how you so there are 8 types of reports, right? So these 8 types of reports with the data we are going to observe. Okay, we'll also work on diagnostic dashboard, which is a new tool which is enhanced actually. Okay, let's say you have issue with the OIMs, because see, we have to understand that OIM is integrated with lot of application. You have trusted application, various target applications, SOA, LDAP, right? So point is, for troubleshooting purposes actually we'll also use the diagnostic dashboard. Okay, so there are various issues we will we'll try to resolve. We'll produce the use cases actually. We'll try to create deliberately, we'll try to create the issue, and we'll observe actually how diagnostic dashboard will figure it figure out the right cause. Okay, we'll also work with the disconnected application instance. We'll understand actually use case for disconnected application instances. Okay, we'll understand for hardware devices, right? Okay, network devices, or any non connected, you can say any let's say SAP, Hyperion, PeopleSoft, all these are connected application, right? So any hardware device, any any piece of hardware, you can say. Okay, it could be in the form of network device, okay, or your computer device, or any device actually. Okay, it could be your access card, right? All these are treated as disconnected application instance. How you configure them in OIM. Okay, we will also work on SOA composer to modify the business rule, right? And in end-to-end we will work on disconnected application instance, how you create them. Okay, how you modify the form, right? And all the flow, end-to-end flow, right from the request creation till fulfillment. I will show you the complete flow. Okay, in the backend how it works. Okay, so we'll also take then next topic, how we export and import the OIM configuration, right? We'll work on sandbox, right? How you move your artifacts. I will show you the sandbox concept in greater detail. Using the deployment manager, how you move your artifacts from one environment to another environment. Okay, As part of the review system, we'll work on attestation process. We'll understand how you create attestation process. Okay, we'll observe various jobs related to attestation, right? And we'll in greater detail actually we'll discuss attestation life cycle. Okay, attestation is, you can say, still legacy feature. Okay, in 9i it was there. To replace the attestation, you have certification, which was originally OIA, Oracle Identity Analytics feature. Because what is happening actually, when Oracle launches, Facet 1 Oracle launched, right? Then Facet 2, then Facet 3 is also coming up, right? So in Facet 1, what they did actually, okay, they they brought certification into the OIM. Okay, then in Facet 2 they have enhanced it, and in Facet 3 they are bringing the rule engineering. Okay, so what they are doing actually, they are bringing the features from OIA and they are merging them into OIM. Okay, certification is a broad topic. When you talk about Facet 1 or Facet 2, the certification is the major topic which they have brought in. Okay, so when I say I will cover the latest product, it means I will cover the latest features which are there. So certification is a big feature. Okay, what is the concept, what is the context, we'll understand, okay, in greater detail. What is the business use case scenarios, right? Different use cases actually wherein certification can be used. We'll create certification definition, we'll understand risk level, we'll configure risk level, we'll understand multi-phase certification, offline certification, closed loop remediation, right? We have a lot of concepts actually within the certification, so we'll understand them in greater detail. So in the course actually our approach is going to be 100% practical. Okay, keeping the only theory is I will discuss the business use case scenario, and then practically will so I will prepare a kind of running notes actually. Okay, if you want to see some of the running notes, okay, it is from the current batch for the installation. Okay, so for OAM, let's say, okay, so when you work on the X.509, right? So how X.509 work, so I will put the steps there. Okay, and then we'll understand the life cycle of the X.509. So we'll see actually. So in the same way, okay, we are going to discuss each and every feature practically. Okay, I will put the business use case, I will also put the steps there in the running notes. Okay, it's kind of mind map, you can say, and then then I will practically carry out the steps. Okay, so point here is, in this way we are going to cover the OIM administration. So you have the complete course contents. Do visit our website, download the course contents, okay, and analyze on your own. Okay, so once we are done with the OIM administration, okay, then we'll walk through into Oracle Access Management administration. Okay, so for Oracle Access Management administration, what we are going to cover actually, as I discussed, right, our approach is going to be end-to-end hands-on driven approach, right? So we will, very first thing is we will put our vanilla SSO solution in place. When I say vanilla SSO solution, what it means actually, okay, we'll set up OAM server. We need to integrate with the web server, okay, which is wherein agent is deployed, right? So that agent and the web server combination is called as policy enforcement point, or PAP. Okay, so that PAP, right, we need to integrate with the OAM server. We'll verify all these things. Okay, we'll also integrate OAM server with the directory server. It could be any directory server actually. It could be AD, it could be OVD, it could be OID, or any directory server. Okay, there is a list of supported directory services. I will show you that. Okay, we'll also set up default identity store, system store, right? We'll create authentication provider, we'll create OAM asserter, and we'll understand in various contexts actually that why we need to do that. So point is, the crux is we will set up vanilla SSO solution, and then we'll do application onboarding into our SSO solution. So I'll show you how you bring a sample web application into the OAM, how you do the SSO of sample web application, okay, how you do the SSO of J2W application and ADF application, right? And the same concept is applicable to Web Center, Primavera application, right? And the big thing which I'm going to cover here is how you do the SSO of OBIEE application. Okay, so point is, we will work on application domains, we will create application domain, we'll define resources, we'll create authentication policies, authorization policies, we'll create authentication schemes, we'll understand in greater detail authentication modules. Okay, so point is, end to end we'll understand the technical flow of SSO. Okay, will also include session management, cookie management, responses on authentication, authorization, right? How access tester tool works, right? So point is, we will in greater detail will understand the inside the OAM how things work. Okay, I will also cover a lot of project specific customization in each project. Almost in each OAM project, okay, you will find that SSO login page need to be customized, and having the multiple SSO login pages are also possible, and I will practically show you that, okay, how multiple SSO login pages are possible. We'll also create error pages, logout pages, right? So there are a lot of customization which we are going to cover. Okay, we'll also understand OAM auditing, okay, how OAM auditing works, and then how you integrate OAM, right, dev underscore IAU schema, which stores the audit information, right? How you integrate that with the BI publisher, right? What all things are needed there, right? And we'll also understand multi-factor authentication. Okay, so I'll cover X.509 in greater detail, right? Okay, so at this point of time, let's discuss some of the milestones. Okay, so let me log in here into the BI console. Okay, so as I discussed, right, we will integrate OAM, right, with the BI publisher, and we'll understand, let's say we have 4 types of reports actually in the BI publisher for the Oracle Access Manager. Okay, so we'll with data I will show you, okay, that what kind of reports are there. I will show you one dashboard actually wherein we'll see all the user activities. Okay, click here on dashboard. So you can see here there are 3 authentication failures, okay, and there are 22 authentication successes, right? There is 0 authorization failure, and there are 399 authorization successes, right? So point is, in greater detail we'll understand actually, with data I will show you all these reports. Okay, I will also give you the idea how you do the report customization. Okay, and moreover, okay, let's walk through some of the the digital certificate concept, the milestone actually. See, I'm not covering these topics as of now, okay, because these topics are milestone, and to reach to a milestone you have to go through a journey, right? So I'm showing you the end result. I'm showing you here the milestone, that what we are going to achieve in the course, because the course is 100% practical. Okay, and I will show you all the things practically. Okay, so let me show you here the X.509 or multi-factor authentication. Okay, okay, so I'm trying to I will also show you how you do the SSO of the OBIEE application. If you observe here, I'm going to access here the OBIEE link. Okay, the request has been intercepted by the agent, passed it to OAM server. OAM server has provided this page. Okay, so I will log in here as any user which is there in the OVD. Okay, I will provide the credentials. The moment I click here on login button, you need to observe. Okay, click here on login button. So SSO has happened, right? I have landed on the BI console. Okay, I have logged in as OAM admin user, right? So point is, we'll understand how you do the SSO of OBIEE application. Okay, so this is one milestone, right? BI reports I have shown you, that was milestone number 1. This is the milestone number 2, wherein we'll understand how you do the SSO of OBIEE application, a big application. Okay, let's pick the third feature here. Okay, I will also show you actually that how you protect. I will show you multi-factor authentication. Okay, so let's this portal is protected. This is the first factor, you can say. Then this page also will customize. We won't see OAM logo there, and I'll show you how you can do the project specific, business specific customization to this page. Okay, so let's log in as any user. Okay, in our case we'll have to log in as the user who has installed this digital certificate in the browser. Okay, so because X.509 cover a lot of things. Okay, in X.509 we will understand how we install server certificates. Okay, what is X.509? Very first thing we will discuss, right? What is the overview of X.509, right? How you install server certificates. Okay, how you store the root certificate into the OAM key store, right? How you install the client certificate, right? In the same way actually we'll we will configure our environment. We will create a separate authentication policy. We'll modify X.509 authentication scheme. We'll modify X.509 authentication module, right? So in greater detail actually we'll prepare our server. We'll also do the SSL of OAM server. Okay, we also have to restart our servers twice, right? So point is, we will set up the X.509 infrastructure. Okay, and in this browser, if I show you here options, Okay, if I show you here in the advanced section, encryption, view certificate, so this client, right, the user who is going to log in already have a digital certificate being installed here. So this is the digital certificate, right? So who issued the the digital certificate? This is the host name, right? And you will also find some of the details there. Okay, so this certificate is issued to this user. Okay, so this certificate is there in the certificate manager of the Firefox browser. Each browser, I will show you in Chrome how you install the certificate, in IE how you install the certificate, right? And how X.509 how the the complete life cycle of X.509, right? I will demonstrate end to end. Okay, so let's see this. This is the first factor wherein I will log in. Okay, is the form based first factor. So once you have authenticated as a first factor, right? So we have this resource, because critical resources need to be need to be protected with the second factor. So let's say a user is trying to access financial resources, right? So the moment he click on the financial resource, right, a request the OAM SSL server, right, will request for the digital certificate. That digital certificate need to be provided. Okay, if I don't provide the digital certificate, my authentication, second factor authentication, will fail. If I provide here the digital certificate, then only I will access here the financial page, right? So if you see here, in this way actually the the second factor authentication with the X.509 works. Okay, so point here is, okay, if you want to get the complete course details, okay, so you have to go to our website www.oraclefusionforall.com. okay, and you have to go to our courses section, and under that you will find OAM course contents. So you have to right click here, open a new tab. Okay, you will find the contents there, right? So in the contents, right, so installation phase we already discussed, configuration integration phase is same for OIM and OAM. Okay, so if you observe here, very first thing, we will discuss access management suite, right? We'll anyhow we'll discuss Oracle security solutions in the upcoming session in the installation phase. Okay, then we'll understand how you configure the web server instance, right? What all supported web servers are there, right? We'll discuss in greater detail, like you have the Apache, right, OHS, IHS, okay, IIS, okay, Oracle Traffic Director or OTD, right? All these web servers are supported, right? So for these web servers we have the agents available. So we will install one of the web server, we'll deploy the WebGate on top of the web server instance, right? We'll modify the web server configuration file or http.conf file, right? And then we'll integrate this WebGate instance, right, with the OAM server. And there are two ways to integrate it. Okay, one is using the remote registration tool, and another one is using the OAM console, and I will show you both way. Okay, I will also show you the differences between the RREG tool and the OAM console. Okay, we'll understand the default embedded LDAP. Okay, and we'll change that. We'll integrate OAM with the OVD, and instead of OVD it could be any directory server actually, but in our case we'll pick up the OVD, and I will show you how you integrate OAM with the OVD. Okay, we'll also create OVD authenticator, right? We'll work on MyReam. Okay, we'll create SSO identity asserter, right? OAM identity asserter also we'll create. We'll understand the context in what situations actually we need to create these authenticators, right? What is default store, what is system store, we'll also understand that in OAM context. Okay, we'll deploy sample web application, and we'll configure the SSO of that application, right? We will create separate application domain, we'll define resources, we'll create authentication policies, we'll create authorization policies, right? So we'll understand in greater detail how you protect and unprotect the various enterprise resources, right? In authorization policies we have 4 conditions actually, 4 different use cases. So in greater detail we'll understand these use cases. Okay, we'll do the SSO of ADF application or J2W application, and the same concept is applicable for the web center or primary applications, right? We'll work on we'll understand the complete end-to-end technical flow of SSO, right? The user requested, WebGate intercepted the request, passed it to OAM server. What is happening behind the scene actually? What is authentication policy, then authentication scheme, then authentication modules, then then you have that your identity identity provider, right? So point is, there are a lot of things actually which play the complete role here. I will explain that in greater detail. We'll also understand responses, how you set responses in header, cookie, sessions, right? And how you observe these responses. Okay, I will also show you the single sign-on with cookie management, session management, keeping these two concepts in mind. I will also show you the complete flow. We'll also create custom SSO login page. Okay, this SSO login page could come from your external application as well, right? I will show you how it is possible, right? I will also explain the code. I will share the code with you, right? We'll understand how multiple SSO login pages are possible. I will demonstrate that. How you configure the logout page, error pages, right? All these things we are going to understand. Okay, so multiple SSO login pages also I have highlighted here. Okay, then we'll understand various OAM scenarios. Okay, so there are a multi-browser scenario, okay, or how you restrict the sessions, right? Okay, how you view cookies, what kind of cookies are there, right? How we constrain the number of user sessions, right? How we extend the session session idle timeout, right? Global as well as application level, right? So, and then we will understand multi-factor authentication, that how what is the driving factor. Practically I will show you, see all these things I will show you practical, okay, in a 100% practical manner with the with the exact scenarios. Okay, we'll simulate what you will find in the enterprise. Okay, so point here is, at this point of time we'll understand how multi-factor authentication works. We'll work on X.509. I have given you the I have given you that how digital certificates are used in SSO for second factor. I have presented one milestone to you. That milestone I have practically demonstrated, right? I explained that how you install server certificates, how you retrieve the OAM key store password, how you install the C root certificate in the OAM key store, how you install client certificate, right? How you define the resource which need to be protected with the second factor, right? How you modify X.509 authentication scheme, authentication module, and how we observe and then I will finally show you that how end to end the second factor authentication with the X.509 really works. Okay, and we will also understand how OAM auditing works. Okay, we'll change the auditing, right? And then I have already shown you the reports in BI publisher. Okay, we'll understand the report template, right? How we take these report templates into the BI publisher, how we create data sources, how we populate these reports with the data, okay, with the OAM audit data actually. Okay, we'll observe there are 4 types of reports, right? We have seen that, right? If you see here, we have seen that. Okay, let's go to catalog. We have seen in OAM you have 4 types of reports. I will also show you report customization actually, that how report customization is possible, right? So point is, in this way actually, okay, we are going to cover end to end. Sorry, my bad. Okay, so in this way actually we'll in greater detail we'll understand the OBIEE integration with the OAM server, so that we can see all the 4 types of report there. We'll also work on access tester, right? How testing happens. Okay, we will test authentication, authorization, all these things, right? Responses, everything. Okay, then I will show you the SSO of OBIEE application, right? How OBIEE application, which is within OBIEE application you have the BI search, right? You have the BI console, you have analytics application, right? How you protect all your OBIEE resources with the OAM server. Okay, with the single sign-on actually. So we'll do the SSO of the OBIEE application. Within OBIEE application you have a lot of sub applications, right? BI search is one application, the analytics is one application, XML server, right? Or BI console is one application, right? So how we protect them. Okay, so it's it's more than 2.5 hour session actually, wherein I will show you how you do the SSO of OBIEE applications. Okay, so point is, in this way we will in greater detail, right? I have shown you with milestone. I have I have gone through the course content as well. Okay, and right now in our walkthrough, okay, we will conclude our course. Okay, post our course actually, the services, the training services, right, which we provide, our training services will enable the trainees, right, to have a very thorough hands-on knowledge of OIM administration. They will be able to bring any application, okay, with pre-built connector into OIM. We also provide the VirtualBox, pre-configured VirtualBox image, wherein you will have all these softwares, right? Everything as a package we provide. We also provide support on setting up the VirtualBox machines on your on your laptop or desktop, so that you can also do the hands-on. Okay, so you will get a real a thorough hands-on knowledge on OIM administration. Okay, wherein you will be able to achieve all the use cases which I have highlighted in the OIM course contents. Okay, you can do trusted reconciliation, target reconciliation, all the 3 types of provisioning, certification, auditing, troubleshooting, and there are a number of topics actually. So as I highlighted, right, in OIM administration We won't leave single OIM administrative feature unexplained. We'll explain each and every button, each and every feature which is there in OIM. Okay. So we'll work on design console, we'll work on sysadmin console, we'll also work on the identity console. Okay. On Oracle Access Manager administration, okay, you can deliver in your project, how you do the vanilla SSO solution, right? How you do the onboarding into your SSO solution, right? So with the ADF application, J2W application, Web Center, right? You have the OBIEE application, right? Which I'm picking a very big application actually. OBIEE is a very big application. Okay. So how you do the SSO of OBIEE application? Okay. How you do how you do multi-factor authentication with the X.509, right? How SSL works. Okay, we'll also cover the SSL, wherein I will show you how you do the SSL, the agent communication with the OAM server, right? So I will show you the how you do the SSL, right? We'll also cover the customization, right? How you create custom SSO page, multiple SSO login pages, right? And error pages, your logout pages, right? We'll also see how auditing works, right? Audit reports we have already seen in the BI publisher, right? Troubleshooting, session management, reporting. So there are n number of topics actually, and for more details we keep on enhancing our course contents, right, based on our experience. For details actually visit us on our www.oraclefusionforall.com. okay. Thanks guys, with that I conclude. Okay, thanks for watching the video.